the topical analysis as we're looking at silverfish business in East Africa. At this particular moment, what is silverfish to you? Have you ever tasted silverfish, by the way? Because if we're to look at silverfish business in East Africa, we're looking at fish, small fish, oba mukene. So mukene is a nutritious. By the way, if you're to go to a doctor and they are to actually refer some of the types of fish you need to eat to actually improve. Back in the day, they would tell us that if you want your immune system or your brains to function well, you need to make sure that you take silverfish. That mukene is very vital for your sharpness or for the sharpness of your kid. So if I told you a parent and you want your children to be sharp, you can actually give them mukene. And away from that, we are talking silverfish business. This time around, not silverfish eating. Some of you just get it on the plate and you're like, I'm ready to eat it. As low as 500 shillings, by the way, in different markets, you can get mukene. And it can actually make a superb meal for you. Away from that, before we even head into there, this is Smart 24 TV, where we drive your business. And as we drive your business, let's get your feedback. And how do we get the feedback? Follow us on Twitter, Smart 24 TV, Facebook, Smart 24 TV. And you can definitely get our official website, www.smart24tv.com. YouTube, Smart 24 TV, Space Live. Hit the subscription button. We're streaming. Get all those various services you want to advertise with us. Commercial Road 20, plot 29A in Naguru is where we are at. So get those businesses, bring them. Let us drive your businesses. Let's get for you customers. Let's get the clients. We have various viewers across the country. As we can definitely get to drive your business. We are the best name in television. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko on Twitter, Facebook, Jerome Paul Sonko on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Get me there. Follow me up. Let's talk business. Let's discuss more of the business matters. Let the conversations keep going about business. And this time around, if we are to talk about mukene, you can use all those social media platforms and give us where does the query come from, if you're to look at that. Now, the members from the Silverfish Association have proposed that there should be a lawful silverfish committee to monitor and sensitize fishermen. And that these fishermen mainly dealing in the silverfish sector. While appearing before the Parliamentary Committee of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, they decried double taxation, calling on the amendment of fisheries and the Agriculture Bill 2020. Look at it in this way. We as Africans, or Ugandans, or those in the East African countries, or the partner states, which include the Republic of Kenya, the United Republic of Tanzania, and the Republic of Uganda, sharing Lake Victoria, have been managing the lake through agreed management plans to ensure sustainability of the fisheries resources. But still, with the situations, for instance, in Uganda here, we've had cases where the UPDF has actually been heavily deployed on the landing sites to track down people actually dealing in illegal fishing. Illegal fishing, which includes fishing of young fish. You see some people actually fish very young fish and attribute them to be silverfish. But in a way, if government yoba abantu bebatamanyi mukene afana nati amanyi size ya mukene manyi bwa kamukene kaba katini era otunulira ekyenyanja nga kikuzeekuzeemu nnyo nga kyenkanankana ekigalo kyange ekisajja nga kineneko. That ceases to be mukene sometimes, though mukene can actually be that size, however. But if it actually is bigger than this thumb, awo nga batandika bamanya kati ono ali mu kudingira mu bwennyanja buto. Wekigamba oli mu kukwata bwennyanja buto bw'oli okujja mu mazzi nga bw'olimbalimba bw'okubakuba around the bush ng'olimba mbuno gwe ssebo oli mu kudiringira mu mukene. And these dealers or the fishermen who are dealing in the silverfish, Bobagamba, they need a committee. And this committee is going to regulate them. We all know the committee because they have the Association of the Silverfish Association, Mukene Association. Ngane enoyo etunulira bantu bakwata oba bantu abavuba bumukene oba abadiringa mukene no transporting mukene okuva ku landing site. Excuse me. Kati wotunulira ku nsonga eno. Bobagamba, they need a regulatory body or a committee that is going to regulate them. And if someone is actually looking at a committee that is going to regulate, them, ojja kwekanganga fenna tusobola okwaguruinga ensonga nti gavumenti webegenda okunoonyereza what is happening from the ground of fishermen or in the world of fishing or in the business of fishing, basooka tunuulira bodies zino ziregulatinga ne laws eziba ziteekeddwawo o amateeka agafuga abavubi nti bagagoberera. Waba bagagoberera, what went wrong? So according to these, if you look at the silverfish in Uganda, and what has actually been happening here is that the first fisheries management plan that was developed in 2001 and implemented from 2005 to 2008, this was actually followed with the second management plan for the period of 2009 to 2014. And the members of from the Silverfish Association proposed that there should be a lawful silverfish committee to monitor and sensitize the fishermen on the dangers, what is needed, the available market. Kuba kati tutunuulira embeera nga bweri nti ojja boodiringira mu kuvuba ebintu bino naye ng'ekituufu kiri nti tomanyi katale bwe kali, tomanyi ssente bwe zigenda va, tomanyi ki muntu kyalina kukola at the end of the day, nga tomanyi nti omuntu yenna omanyi ebiseera bisinga tulina engeri gye tutunuuliramu embeera zino nti osobola obbanga ovuba ebyennyanja naye wekiba nga si mukene oba tugambe engege oba empuuta noba nga ozivuba naye ng'ozigyayo mu mateeka kubanga gwe weemanyi nti no ku kitundu bakimanyi nti oli muvubi sadida ogenda ku makya okedde essaawa 9 eyo n'ogenda n'oggyayo ebyennyanja n'okeera n'otandika otunda osaaba tomanyi butale wawo gye buli, tomanyi mateeka galiwo mu gavumenti kuba kati gavumenti yataddewo ne policy empya nti omuntu alina okutambula ne permit. Any fisherman is supposed to work with a permit. The permit shows the quantity of fish, the destination market, the landing site, and the type of fish that you're actually dealing in, or the one that you're actually selling. So bino ebintu byonna association zino zisaba committee negenda bayamba mu kusensitizinga, and this is actually going to help them to lay a strategy on how they are going to develop each other. Nti boba emanyi nti fe tuli bavubi abaliwa abavubi b'ebyennyanja oba abavubi ba mukene. Kati bw'oba omanyikiddwa nti oli muvubi wa mukene, kiki ky'olina okukola mu time eyo? Tugambe nti okay, tukumanyi nti gwe oli muvubi wa mukene, naye kaakati ssebo taata oba oli muvubi wa mukene, kiki ekyenjawulo kyogatta ku ba fishermen? Oba oyinza okwekanga ng'oli muvubi ng'odiringa mu byonna naye ng'ogwa mu association ez'enjawulo, kibategeeza olina better regulated by the other body. While appearing before the Parliamentary Committee of Agriculture and Animal Industry and Fisheries, the Association of Silverfish members decried double taxation, calling on the amendment of Fisheries and the Agriculture Bill 2020. The Fisheries and Agriculture Bill number 29 of 2020 was formulated with the objectives of consolidating and reforming the laws relating to management of fisheries and aquaculture. The most important thing to note for fishermen and those engaged in the fisheries value chain is to adopt better methods of processing fish catch to attract better market potential for increased income earnings. So this is actually a wide scope. The most important part to note for any fisherman, those engaged in fisheries, in the fisheries value chain, is that one, for anyone to adopt better methods of processing fish, you need to attract better market potential for increased income earnings. You need to know that the market that you're targeting, if the market that you're targeting is this, how are you going to earn from it? Because we generally look at how we are going to potentially earn from a market, an available market. And for the silverfish, it being, because they have the market, but I would say, according to the pricing of the silverfish, it is actually very cheap according to the other fish species. Look at tilapia. You can get tilapia at 5,000. You can get Nile perch at 5,000. But silverfish, you can actually get silverfish at as low as 500 shillings, which actually shows you the impact of the market. And the committee members added that the East African countries that are surrounded by Lake Victoria need to be regulated. Honorable Mary Begumisa and the MP Zimbabwe district, the committee chairperson, says that what has been raised will be put into consideration. What has been raised here is that the Association of Silverfish, or the committee that sits with the silverfish, the fishermen that deal with the silverfish, have actually looked at it in a way that this has to be done to help them actually understand what is actually happening. If you're to look at, let us throw back to February this year. Silverfish, commonly known as mukene, when dried on bare ground, gets mixed with the sand and animal droppings, according to authorities. This was in February this year. Officials, if you're to look at officials in Uganda, for instance, let us first draw it in a Uganda perspective. Officials banned drying of mukene on bare ground. Mukene, normally, according to officials, when drying on a bare ground, mukene gets mixed up with sand and animal droppings. Have you ever happened to fry mukene and then you get to eat, let's say, a stone? Nolya mukene n'owuliranga mulimu ejjinja ng'olinganga alidde omuceeri ogutali mulonde. So babaninga okudryinga mukene ku bare ground. These are officials. We're looking at how we're actually getting to a story here of the situation. The authorities said back then in that demonstration racks were provided to the fishermen, but they refused to recreate them and for use. And authorities in Masaka district banned the drying of fresh silverfish on bare ground, saying that the practice compromises the quality. While speaking in an interview, Moses Semambo, the Masaka district fisheries officer, did say that they have over the years been warning fishermen against this practice in vain. So if you look at what the fishermen want in terms of a committee that is going to regulate the Silverfish Association, is targeting some of these areas. Some of, if you look at poor practice methods of fisheries, not only in Uganda meanwhile, but also issues that are going to, let's say policies that are going to regulate fishermen in the neighboring countries, Kenya and Tanzania, which we share Lake Victoria. And Lake Victoria, which is a catchment for not only silverfish, but also various fish species. And in February, government, in partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization, which had built more than 50 demonstration drying stands at some landing sites to encourage fishermen to build theirs, but they have not taken breed. So over the last years, government together with the Food and Agriculture Organization have built more than 50 demonstration drying stands whereby fishermen can actually dry this silverfish, but they chose to actually focus on drying and separating silverfish on the bare ground. Something that is actually going to, according to officials, damages or compromises with the quality of fish that we want for the market. Because we not only look at the market here in Uganda, not only the market we look at in Kenya, we don't look at the market out there in Tanzania, we look at the world market, because silverfish, just like any other fish, is exported. You've heard of tinned fish. So tinned fish, just like any other brand or any other business aspect, looks for quality. So we look for segments of quality whereby if it is quality needed, chichiche tufurumia nga East Africa. Ate bwetubeera ne committee nga zino, zi committee zino zituyamba okutegeera nti wetuba tugenda okufulumya ebyennyanja, wetuba tugenda okutransportinga mukene, tugenda ku exportinga mukene, tutunuulira quality ya mukene ki gye tugenda okuteekayo. Ye abaffe abavubi be tuyina bagoberera amateeka ga bagateekezeddwawo ab'obuyinza? Do they follow the guidelines from the authorities? The authorities have warned you against. The authorities have warned you against use of poor nets. Authorities have warned you against fishing immature fish, not together. Authorities have put in place for you facilitations that you're going to use to dry your fish. No chimanyecho. So, tutunuira mu mbeera eno eya silverfish eya mukene nga twagala okulaba engeri gye tugenda okumitigating these situations. Tuli mu mbeera ya COVID. Naye abavubi baffe, I know governments of Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania have regulatory bodies that are looking at it. Now, for instance, in Uganda, we have the Fisheries and Agriculture Bill 2020 that focuses on everything to do with agriculture and fisheries. So when we mention agriculture and fisheries, we are looking at the fishing sector. The bill is regulating fishing businesses, regulating the fisherman, omuntu ali katala atunda ebyennyanja, waliwo bano ababivuga, ababoda abavuga ku speed ya yiri, waliwo amamotoka kugamba buli stakeholder ali mu byennyanja, and finally even the person who consumes it. So at the end of the day, if you look at what the association of silverfish, the Silverfish Association, proposing that they should have a lawful silverfish committee, this one is actually passing through the law. Ngeno. And they have actually come out and decried double taxation, saying that with the amendment of the Fisheries and Agriculture, omuntu bamutaxing emirundi ebiri naddala wano mu Uganda, nti bakutaxinga okubanga bo balaba nti tekiri fair okutaxinga omuntu adiringira mu silverfish yokka n'omukuba double taxation eya silverfish n'omutaxinga n'ebyennyanja biri ebinene ebya tilapia nayo paati empuuta n'engege, kugamba omuntu agenda olabanga omunyigiriza omukubye ku kisenge, you're pinning them to the wall. So these are some of the things that they actually been crying out to the government, saying that we need this committee to come out. The association needs to help us. Naye tugenda kukola tutya okulaba nga ekintu kino kisoboka? Kubanga abantu abamu bajja kwebuuza nti tutunuulira embeera nga bweri, tutunuulidde embeera ey'okwekanga nti mukene ono ayambye bangi, oba mukene alina kyagattako ku ggwanga lyaffe. Naye otunuulira ku mbeera y'omusolo nti waliwo omuntu nga mu mukene notafunamu sente. I was just actually weighing the price of mukene. Osobola ofuna mukene ku nusu bitaano ate ffenna tukimanya ekyo. Oyo mukene n'ow'ebitaano osobola omulyako ekyemisana n'ekyeggulu. Kati wogula ate ow'olukumi kiyitirira. Abantu baba balina n'embwa bagula mukene n'agamba kangende ngule mukene wa 200 n'asabulira wiiki namba ng'awa embwa kyemisana kyaggulu. Naye mu byennyanja ebyennyanja bya bbeeyi nnyo, fresh fish, regardless of even smoked fish, kino kikulaga nti they need a body that is going to lawfully regulate them, a body that is going to monitor and sensitize the fishermen dealing in that aspect, dealing in the world of mukene, silverfish. Bamanye nti kati bino ebyennyanja buno bwennyanja baffe bwe tuliringamu bwe bati yene embeera eriwo. Omuntu omanyi amateeka gano gatuyamba okumanya nti amateeka gateekesebwawo tugenda ne tutegeera ki ekiriwo mu ggwanga. N'omanya nti omuntu omunyigiriza omutaddeko omusolo guno naguno naye ayingiza mmeka? Sente ez'omutaddeko anaazisobola? Ye abaffe bbanga ki mukene kitwalira bbanga ki mukene okuva ku mwalo okutuuka katale gy'ayi? Ye watuuka katale amalayo bbanga mmeka? Bbanga ki ng'abantu batandise omugula oba abamutunda bafuna bakola amagoba? So still ogenda okwekanga nga bw'ogattagatta ebintu bino tuli mu kunyigiriza abantu nga tetumanyi kikiriwo. Kivula baagala a law, they need a committee that is going to monitor and sensitize the fishermen, and at the end of the day calling for a lawful. So this committee should be actually regulated by law. It should be a lawful committee that is going to monitor and sensitize fishermen. Omuntu amanye nti okola odiringa mu buno obwennyanja. Segera nti oba odiringa mu buno obwennyanja kiki kye weetaaga okukola okubeera nga benefitinga, because the trader community in Uganda is only facing a few of the challenges, and if you realize we tubayambako mu ngeri emu n'endala ne tuzuula loopholes ezirimu ojja kwekanga abantu bagenda kwenyumiriza mu mirimu gye bakola. I normally give examples to developed countries, and like a friend of mine once told me nti mu China government ye China egenda neteekawo embeera nga emirimu egiri n'amateeka awo egali agalaga nti oyamba omuntu okuva mu bwavu okujjako nga ye tayagadde bwagazi. Omutereddewo emirimu weegiri, opportunities ezeetandikirawo emirimu nagyo weeziri, nti okujjako nga yagadde kufa bwavu nga kiri ku ye. Naye wano ojja kwekanganga n'omuntu agenda ofuna kyafunamu ajja kwekanganga newakubadde yeegobako obwavu ajja kwekanganga amateeka agagenda gamufunza ne gamukuba ku kisenge naba nga talina ngeri gyafunamu. Newekanga nti kakati nze mbadde ndiringa mukene nsuubira nti jjaba nfuna ku ssente nange ngagawale, omusolo ne gujja ne gumukuba. Kati omusolo gujja ne gumukuba aba takyafunamu. Kyova olaba abavubi bano basabye gavumenti eteekewo etteeka erigenda okuba regulatinga, etteeka erigenda okumonitoringa, a law that is going to look into a situation balabe nti okay, tulina abavubi baffe bavuba mukene, sente zo bazifuna, naye yo bwe bazifuna omusolo guyimiridde gutya. Tuyinza obba tulowooza sente bafuna akatale bwekali. Kati ebyo byonna bwe tumala obitegeera awo wetutegeerera wetutandika okuzimbira ku mulamwa nti okay, business in the silverfish is actually moving. And if you to look at the fisheries management plan, which was developed in 2001, it was later on implemented from 2005 to 2008. This was followed with the second management plan for the period 2019 to 2014. As the members from the Silverfish Association therefore proposed that there should be a lawful silverfish committee to monitor and sensitize fish. And while appearing before the Parliamentary Committee of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, they decried double taxation, calling on the amendment of Fisheries and Agriculture Bill 2020. So the Fisheries and Agriculture Bill number 29 of 2020 was formulated with the objectives of consolidating and reforming the laws relating to management of fisheries and agriculture. As if we are to look at the situation, the most important thing to note for the fishermen and those engaged in the fisheries value chain is to adopt better methods of processing fish, processing the fish catch to attract better market potential for increased income earnings. So we expect some changes. As according to the committee chairperson, Honorable Mary Begumisa, the MP Sembabule district says that what has been raised will be put into consideration. And we do hope it will be put into consideration because these fishermen want a lawful committee that will monitor and sensitize them as well as regulate their activities. As we wind up with the topical analysis, coming up after the break is Andrew Barigi with the latest from the entertainment business. Keep it SMP.